Welcome to a new spirit that will warm your heart. Welcome to a new spirit. Every day's a brand new start. Where encouraging words can heal your soul and dreams will be renewed. Welcome to a new spirit, a new spirit in you.
Why are some people persecuted more than others? Welcome to the New Spirit radio show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. Today's date, I have the wrong date because it's actually October 29 of 2022, and there's trivia behind that. Coming to you live from California, both NorCal and SoCal are your hosts, Reverend Tom Bigley and MIT Catherine Taylor, playing audio segments we call Messages from Spirit. Why? Answering the ultimate question: why are we here and what is our purpose?
Ooh. These segments are recorded trance sessions from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So for new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, which means Sylvia contracted to let her and Francine's essences exchange places in Sylvia's body. So we think of our bodies being similar to a car. One driver gets out and another driver gets in. This allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master teacher and healer, a guide named Raheim, would exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Raheim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our spirit guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during trance, Sylvia would sit on a nice bench in a rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, MIT Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley.
Hi!
Hey!
So good to see you. And so good to see everybody.
Yes.
And everyone is saying happy birthday to Sylvia.
Fun.
So
They remembered.
Fantastic. Yes. Happy birthday,
I spoiled
Sylvia.
the trivia question. Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh. I'm a hot
No
mess.
worries. No worries. I was just for the fun. And
Cool.
Chris Dufresne, her son, is doing a special, or did a special Q&A this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So go check that out at some point after our show.
Yes. Yes.
So
Fantastic.
fun. Yes. It's a celebrating of Sylvia's birthday today. So quick agenda outline for us. We love to share, how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy? Well, I used it, how to pronounce things. Then we talk about announcements. We have special prayers. We share the trance segments, and you're welcome to participate in the meditation. I talk about some closing notes, and then there's the special prayer ceremony, the novena. We have talk about some appreciation, and then we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia. Normally, if I don't get our candle burned out, and I just ran to get one. It's our candle lighting moment. Oh, these are going to get stuck. Oh, well. Hello? That's
I have
funny.
faith.
What? Oh, you have faith? Okay.
I have faith.
I have a big,
I have faith.
it was a blowtorch, not a lighter.
It is a blowtorch. I can hear it. That's lovely. Lovely.
Yeah,
Yay.
That will keep going better than last week's, for sure.
Cool.
Let's see. Yep. So our fun beginning segment is, how did you use Novus philosophy? So I'm going to let you choose who goes first, whether we do rock, scissors, paper, or you just choose, or...
Well, I think I'd be happy to share first.
Okay.
So if you can hear my cat in the background, he is fine. He's just singing the song of his people, first of all. He's a very talkative boy. So what I used of Novus philosophy, I am helping out a couple of friends who are going through one of those periods of time that we've talked about in the trances. That's like an unveiling period, where they've said like once a year or once every couple of years, there's this period of time where where sometimes you'll see the veil kind of lifted back on people, and you see their true colors, and they step away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got a few people in my social circle who are going through a situation like that. And so I've been using a lot of Novus related philosophy to just validate what they're going through, and, help acknowledge that, we always have hopes for all the people that we do meet in life, and do the best that we can with that. But sometimes when a stressful event happens, you see how people cope. And sometimes you find out that someone isn't coping so healthily, and they step away, and it's okay to, wish them well, and, just step away and hope, like, just fingers crossed that it's not, it doesn't turn into a dramatic event and whatnot. So, so I've really been using a lot of Novus related thoughts to kind of help that situation along and provide loving support, and just basically telling everybody in my social circle, like, yeah, in unveiling periods, that's all this is. It's a normal thing that happens, and they suck. It sucks.
No.
when you're single and you have a breakup with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you have a chance to be friends afterwards sometimes. But when you break up with a friend, you can't be a friend afterwards. Friend breakups are worse. Anyhow, so yeah, that's what I've been very intentionally using, and I'm also continuing to drink my green tea as recommended by Raheim, and I'm feeling good about that. And I've also been just using more of my tools before bedtime, and so I just noticed that I'm continuing to have improvements in my energy and mood, and so that feels good. So
good.
Yeah, so that's me. What about you? What have you used of Novus philosophy?
Well, let's see. Where'd I put it? So my significant other, Rosie, had I'm coining this, had a near-death experience without the near-death experience.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's really exciting for her, in that the being on the other side and realizing, all the people were there. It's been we've had several long, fun discussions of what she saw, what her experience was, and sort of in a nutshell, it was an interesting evolvement transition while meeting people. So she was
cool.
She was on the other side, and just in awe of all the people around her that were sort of like mingling, meeting each other, yet she felt she knew quite a few of them, but not in this lifetime, except for her brother. One of her brothers showed up, and
wow.
not abruptly, but just at some point turned and walked away, which didn't bother her. But being awake, it sounds kind of odd. But in the moment, it was like, oh, okay, he came, he went, and then an individual came from a past in life experience. We know this person has passed. But it was interesting that this person had showed up as we knew them in life, showed up temporarily and then left, and she was still in awe of all these other people around, and it was very similar to what we hear quite a bit from people that have had near-death experiences. Get to the other side, they're in awe of like, people they see or meet, and but also it was an interesting. The way she described it, I thought of as it's like an evolvement transition of meeting people and had purpose and meaning behind it, and it was similar to the movie What Dreams May Come,
Oh,
when
wow.
when Robin Williams is on the other side, what we think of as in heaven, and first meets up with this gentleman and goes, oh well, I can't remember the actor's name, but meets up with the gentleman, the younger guy, and they go through these adventures looking for his wife, and it finally turns out to be an evolvement of experiences that let Robin Williams realize that's his son that he's with. And so that's what the
So
experience was for
fascinating.
Rosie, meeting these people
Oh,
on the other
interesting.
side. So yeah, it was a fun, we've had several conversations describing that whole thing. So yeah, I thought, cool, somebody, somebody had, a really nice experience on the other side without having the near death experience to go with it.
That is so beautiful. Please tell Rosie that I had something similar. I had a near-death experience that was extremely profound, but it wasn't quite a near-death experience because don't know what
Cool.
else to call it. Don't know what else
Yeah.
to call it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've told you about it a couple times, but yeah, tell her I'm really
I,
excited for her, please.
yeah. I just thought it was sort of humorous that it was an experience like we hear from many people that have near-death
Yeah,
experiences, but it was without the near-death experience, which
yeah.
I think like, whew, we don't need that.
Oh, that's tremendous. Oh,
But
that's so
I
cool.
do understand for some people, that's sort of like a helpful means for them to um, um, be allowed to think that, hey, I am on the other side. This, I'm not dreaming. I'm not. Some people need that event to go through that and allow their
Yeah,
soul to say, oh, there is more to what we see and feel and hear in front of us.
that's what I needed, and that's okay. And we all kind of we all have our burning bush moments.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what Francine mentioned at one point. We all have our burning bush moments. But if we had a burning bush all the time, then it wouldn't be a journey that
Yeah. Yeah.
was that we're learning from. So one special moment here and there. It's cool. That's I'm so excited for her. That's really neat.
Anybody in chat? Well,
Yes.
I shouldn't say
Yes.
anybody in chat. Has anybody in chat shared?
Yes. People are very, very chatty today, which is so exciting. Laura Robo, hello. Yvonne Dillsworth, hello, Reverend. How are you? Aaron, Naomi, everyone. Oh gosh, Kathy, Sherry, WW, Olivia. Olivia says, "Hi guys, I love this program. I'm hooked. Thanks for doing these, girlfriend. You are so welcome. So happy you're here." Ronald shares, "I've begun reading the Gnostic Gospels by Elaine Pagels. Very interesting to read." Heck yeah, it is super interesting to read, and it's she's so intelligent, but it doesn't feel like it's too academic that it's like inaccessible. So yeah, it's a really interesting read. Awesome, have fun with that journey. Within says, "I used it by researching healing and practicing what I learned." Wonderful. Lisa Olson, hello, I'm finally catching this live. High five. Fantastic. Totally get it. Aaron was laughing at the blowtorch. She said that's a first. That's funny. Blowtorch. Sherry mentions, "I mentioned to a coworker who was a good friend to ask the angels to help her with sleeping problems. She said she used to pray to the angels when she was in the Philippines." That's good. That's really good. Yvonne says, Reverend Yvonne says, "I've been closing windows of negativity and opening windows and diving in for positive growth." Fantastic. And sharing the information with all who will listen. Windows of negativity are fascinating. So if you notice periods of periods in your life where it feels like you are just being bombarded with negativity, mentally visualize a window in front of you and that all the negativity is coming through this window, and just slam it shut, board it up,
Label it.
label it. No. And that's so that's what we mean by a window of negativity. And it's actually a phase in our charts, and we have several areas where there are windows of negativity, and it's up to us to choose to fight back by, closing them. And you do feel a change in your life when you mentally decide that you're going to close these, because what happens sometimes is that people leave them open for too long, and then they end up wrecking their health and their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they get so intense that people are just like, I don't know what else to do, so I'm going to dive into that window of negativity. And that's where psychosis starts to happen and really bad mental illness. So it is, it's a really talented healer, like loving person in someone's life who's able to like pull somebody back out from those windows. So really, really interesting to listen to Raheim talk about those in the past.
And ask, if you think somebody else is going through that, ask for it for themselves, for that person. Yes,
Absolutely.
They need to do it for themselves, but you can ask for that person. Just visualize it, put a label on it, window of negativity, and see it, shut. I mean, we're visualizing, the window that goes closed, but many of us have windows that go left to right, so it doesn't matter.
True.
Whatever way the window, you visualize the window, just close it.
Nope.
And it's kind of like we also plan in our our 5 exit points, but also our we may plan a desert period too. So there's things, the challenges and the adversity that we plan in our life. These are just some of the different types of things that we've asked for, and we're getting tools to how to jump through the hoops.
A few more comments and then we can move on. All right, so yes, we were talking about the movie What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. I would like to rewatch that because there's
we just rewatched it recently because there was Rosie listens to some Spanish speaking stations or YouTube channels, and they were brought up the similarity of that movie and people's near-death experiences.
Cool. Beautiful. And then Melissa shares, I had a dream that I was above my body last night. Ooh, interesting. It felt real. And that beauty and love awaits me if I reach for it. And the first thought I had was to share it here.
Wow, fun.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That is really, really neat. Tons of birthday wishes for Sylvia. And Sylvia would be 86. Is what someone is sharing.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Cool.
It's hard to fathom that it's been where we were like 9 years.
Yeah, man, that's
Well, that's next month. We'll deal with that next month.
We'll deal with that next month. Yeah. Sherry says, I did a past life regression with my son. Ooh, and I forgot that I have to be careful because they take everything literal. I said to my son, go to where great grandma is. And he said he went whoosh and to where she was. And maybe I should have said walk to where she is. Whoosh. That's funny. What Aaron asks, what happens when it's your neighbor who's being the negative one? How do you shut that down? I've been asking Asana for help in that situation.
You can surround them with white light, surround your house, put protection around your house, do a house blessing around your house, and keep up the one as best you can. Don't interact with them. Don't, it's like child behavior 101 or beginner's child behavior. Exactly.
Best you can.
Yeah. And surround that house with white light to help neutralize them, so that great. When they're gone, they can be as negative as they want somewhere else, and yeah.
Yeah. Someone else shares, Sherry shares, visualize them in a lead box. Absolutely. Lead is also good. I'll keep that situation in my prayers, though. I know that is not fun. And then last comment we have here is Melissa from Australia was saying, my grandma was telling me about the beauty in love. Oh, that's really sweet. That's really sweet. I'm really happy that you had that experience.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for all of your stories. They're so inspiring and wonderful. It's so exciting to see what other people are going through right now.
Let's see. Do we have any? We already said. Let's see. Nope. No. I haven't got anything.
Prayers?
Nope. Sorry, I don't have any special announcements other than, hey, we do ask you to share, promote, like, subscribe, click on the bell, and donate as best you can. Help keep this going, promote us, and so more people we get this message out to more people. Let's see, we've got, where am I? I've got too many buttons in front of me here.
Special prayers?
Oops. I think. Yes, thank you.
All right.
Trying to find my list. So yeah, if you have a special prayer, a special need, visualize what is the outcome that you're looking for, and of course, and ask for the greater good. We're going to take a moment of silence, and it doesn't matter what time you're watching or when you're watching this or where you're watching this. Just take a moment with us, and we're all going to put energy out into everybody's needs. So let's take a moment of silence, and including the people on the prayer chain on the website. So let's get that energy out and get the requests out. Amen. Yeah, there's so much going on that it's like just turn on the news, so you'll feel or think of something that you can put energy towards. Let's see. Yes, if you have a special prayer you'd like to post, you can go to the website and put it on the prayer chain as well. And in addition, be the prayer. If you see a need, fill it. We've got that. If you
Amen.
are streaking, no, if you are streaming challenged, thank you, not streaking challenged, streaming challenged, you can always call into the conference call phone number and listen while we are live. That's a good one. So that number is 888-534-2696. And you can hang out with those that are there. I know there's people there because we were listening earlier. Yeah, so if that's another resource, or if you're driving and YouTube doesn't work in your car, great. You can use that so you can listen to us. We do appreciate that you keep muted to give everybody a great opportunity to listen in a entertaining session. And then the next part, trend segments.
All right, cool. Super quick, Sherry says, when you say click on the bell, what do you mean? Just like on the various platforms, if there's a way that you can subscribe, like especially on YouTube. If we get enough subscribers on our YouTube channel, then we'll be able to send out notices and communications like to anyone who's subscribed to it. So there's actually a really nice perk, once we're able to get a certain number of subscribers.
Yeah.
Right.
So fantastic. I'm trying to cover Facebook and YouTube nomenclature for what it takes to like, subscribe, and share this. Well, both of them have sharing, don't they? Oh well. So yeah, I'm just referencing Facebook and YouTube, the different ways we can share.
Mm-hmm. And Melissa says, I love you, Tom. I assume after the streaking comment. So, all right. So great. All right. So Moving on to trance segments. So we have, we're continuing with Raheim, and the trance date is on January 15th, 1996. And so he's going to continue talking about genetic engineering and how it will be able to cure almost everything except viruses. And then new pneumonia strains can crystallize the lungs. They're very deadly. And then a long discussion about viruses and plagues throughout human history.
Well, I hope this is going to, I hope we haven't heard this before, because somehow I've got, my apology, well, I've got dates wrong here. So I hope this
this is new.
This should be new stuff, but
Yeah, this is
the dates we published for this particular trance is off. That says, and anyway, that's another story. We'll have to figure it out in the
all
background.
right. We'll figure it out.
It's January. I'm seeing January 5th, not the 15th, on the actual track itself. So anyway, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Now I did select something here. There we go. Okay. We'll let you listen to it. We'll figure this out. So, enjoy and take notes.
All right.
Baboon research as far as this AIDS entity, you're going to see a great deal of improvement, but not totally. Where you're going to see the biggest improvement starting this March of this year is that a healthy gene is going to be put in an infected body that has cancer, and the healthy gene is going to reverse the whole genetic pattern. So you're going to have a cure for cancer, you're going to have a cure for AIDS eventually, very quickly with this genetic cell. The only problem is it's only going to be for the rich, which is very sad. Only the rich are going to be able to afford it. It will not stop there though now. Here's where the catch-all is, and I predict this within 4 years. Geneticists get crazy, so they're going to start very much like Hitler, trying to do all kinds of biochemical strange things. It's the most amazing human quality. Man cannot stop with good. His greed carries him all the way to the edge of bad. And that's the demon. That's the demon. Not somebody who sits behind a left door. That's the demon that walks this earth is a greed.
Should we be starting our health centers and our healing centers then based on the retrogenetic principle or on meditative immunology?
Both.
Both. So in other words, the basic formula that you put across is that formula for accession of will, but it's also retrogenetic. So
absolutely, because you see
the
the mind can rejuvenate the whole genetic process by its cell memory, as you say.
Then you're happy with the syllabus that I put together for that?
Yes.
Are you happy with
yes.
that? Okay.
Now, with the genetic implants, there isn't anything that it won't be able to cure. Nothing. From diabetic to, like I said, MS, to Lou Gehrig's, to fibromyalgia. The only thing that it will not be able to stave off, you see there in your time zone, your planet, your side, is the viral infections. And that is the one that's going to slay mankind if they don't quit tearing down their forests.
Yeah.
The old illnesses, such as they call the wasting illnesses, because as tuberculosis has been around as long as mankind. Like I said to you once, this staph infection that's come back is a form of not only streptococci, but it's a form of advanced leprosy in advanced AB or B. But the one thing that geneticists cannot catch in time is the virals. Because you have a type of pneumonia that's coming about that kills like that. It's ingested within the lungs become hardened immediately, become crystallized, and you're gone. Disintegrate. Ava Gabor died of this. Lee Taylor Young's mother died of it. Now, it's rare at this point. But you see, there's no way in which geneticists can, so they will be very smug over here. And yet here we go with Mother Nature unleashing her fury, almost like saying, I'll show you what you can do with your genetics. I can make it so now man has always gone through his typhus, his cholera, his diphtheria, and man, whether he has been inoculated for it or whether he's become impervious by it, has always lived through these things. Man will survive. Even in the Dark Ages, when almost all of the population was wiped out because of the Black Plague, there were always some that rose up with an immune ability. The same as polio, cholera. There's always some people that are immune to it, that it will survive. Yes.
And it seems to me that it's really important now that we get our healing foundation started, but that we get the empowerment foundation so we can get into the medical communities before all this genetic situation is set up, right? It's just...
Well, you're not under a timeline because you see what they can't do, you will be able to do. So eventually what they will do is hook pinkies with you and make a deal. They will, because they know, or they will be really rest assured, you can do everything with the human body. How many times in medical history have you heard the person should have lived but they died? It's very much like the old joke I think you have. The operation was a success but the patient died. Yeah. There's no reason the person should have died. This is where genetic memory, our past life recall, morphic resonance, cell memory comes in. Because no matter what the geneticist does, if this is not in sync with this, they can give you a baboon heart, pig valves, and every genetic that's known to man. And if your mind says, that's it, will breaks, you're gone. Yes.
This virus problem that will be coming on us will also attack animals and all of our food source.
Absolutely. Yeah, it will.
Gee, some of that sounds kind of familiar.
It does sound kind of familiar.
The pneumonia, the hardening of the lungs, and it's ingested into the lungs sounds reminiscent of, now I'm not expert on COVID-19, but that sounds very similar to what I've been hearing, how it affects us. So it's one source of what Raheim was talking about, plus the fact that it was interesting, the beginning of the pandemic or somewhere thereabouts, one of the Kardashians got excited about the fact that Sylvia had predicted, hey, we're going to be obsessed with masks and other fun things in one of her books, and brought up the point of where we had headed into at that time. So interesting, fun notes that were being shared here.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The other, make your point, and then I got another one. Or did you have something you want to?
Oh, I have thoughts, but go for it.
So my other thought was, we're going to hear quite a bit of, we'll hear more about our healing center. And I keep, how do you say, the skin crawls on the back of my neck when I hear that, because to me it's like, well, where is it? I can hear, I imagine people watching this and hearing this going, where is it? And it kind of comes back to how many people does it take to put something like that together? And for me anyway, if that's the thought comes to mind, it's not all responsible on my shoulders to get it all done. And it's like, well, yeah, where are those people that said they wanted to pull all this together? And well, they're not around anymore. So that's part of, things haven't progressed. People haven't kept the vision in their mind, and that's part of the lesson of the Novus philosophy is seeking after your own truth, but yet was that leading you, and where are you now? So the bright side, though, we're getting this information, and so yes, we can use it for ourselves and on ourselves. Of course, yes, work with your doctor, but these tools are for us to work with, and it was more. I thought it was more of, yes, you can. Some people wanted to go out and create a healing center and be able to train people to work with these tools. Well, basically, it was hypnosis with some unique techniques and how do you say never used before. Techniques using hypnosis, things to talk about, things to visualize, and where to point that person's mind to focus on to generate that healing.
Yeah. I know for me, I've definitely experienced some sadness on seeing like a few things not come to pass because people have gone have gone a different way for them.
Yeah.
But I respect people's choices, but the takeaway for me is that I made a choice to say that, okay, whatever factors might lie ahead, the number one thing for me is that I believe in Sylvia and what she did and what she fought for and what she tried to build. And I am going to be on the side of also building that as well, and to do whatever I can to try to keep people together and to see, like, because I think that's something that Gnostics have to learn, is to be okay with people's differences.
Yeah.
Each other's differences, and that's okay. And to fight to keep together. That is one thing that we are not that great at, that I've noticed. That, like, in comparison to other kind of spiritual groups, like, they tend to be a little bit better about like just staying together. But for some reason, Gnostics I think we're so used to like having to shell up and like brace, like, oh no, like life might attack me because of past life experiences or anything else. We don't need to do that with each other. Just love each other and fight to keep our connections with each other is so important to me. And so I don't know, those are takeaways that I have that have happened for me, and and that fills me with joy and motivation, and like I'm just, it makes me happy. Like I had a dream one time that was more than just a dream. Where I was deciding whether or not I wanted to be a minister, and deciding if I was in that space or not. And I encountered actually talking to Sylvia, and I was on the other side, and I looked at her and I said, okay, like I'm present. I'm not dreaming anymore. I'm not in my dreaming brain. I'm present. What do you need to say to me? And she came up to me and she like was holding a box, and she said, the most important thing is getting the message out. And I said, okay, girlfriend. Like, that's it. That's fine. That's fine. So that's what I'm taking and running with. I'm happy with that. Most important thing is getting the message out. Everything else, okay, we'll work on it. I'll send it. We'll go for it. So yeah, anyway, those are just my thoughts on that. And I really hope that we will build beautiful. I know we will build beautiful things in the future. It's just a matter of, let's see where it goes.
Keep moving forward. We keep
moving forward. Yeah,
we keep sharing and encouraging people, and the people that want to participate, they're going to show up and participate.
Absolutely. So, so anyway, those are my thoughts on that. As a younger person. But as far as what we were just listening to, though, about viruses and whatnot. It was spooky, like in comparison to everything that we just went through with.
Oh, yeah. In the virus with the skin eating bacteria.
Oh yeah,
the-
with strep, leprosy. Something.
Yeah, that's back. I heard in the
Oh!
news that there's some people are getting that in Florida, is what I heard. So I'm like, wow, okay, that's yeah, and the fact that if you care to pay attention, look at the deforestation in South America, in Brazil. They're just going gangbusters down there. Deforesting. And anyway, it's a philosophy. It's a, it's every man for himself kind of seems like anyway down there. And so they're just having at it. And it's like, oh my gosh, well, okay, keep an eye on it. There's something we can do about it. Great. But this is part of, the experience here too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thought that I had that I wanted to share, because I know that some folks are very, very like scared of the mRNA vaccines that are going that got developed for COVID. I was reading about the research that went behind that, and it's interesting because the researchers said basically this mRNA technology is that will spell the end to all viruses, because they can make something like so exact to target it. And yet you compare that with all of the fear and negativity that is kind of part of our planet, which is back against science and pushes back against reason and whatnot. And so it's like, it's just another example of it's really, really hard for breakthroughs to happen on our planet, because there's so much negativity that gets in the way of something new being presented that could really, really be helpful to a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, got a question. Naomi asks, did Francine or Raheim say baking soda cures any kind of skin cancer by chance? I thought I heard something about baking soda water paste. I've heard Raheim talk about baking soda like paste being helpful for soothing the skin. I don't know anything. I don't recall anything
I
about.
haven't recalled it myself, but look in the Journey of the Soul topic 3 and look up baking soda. See what things fall in that category.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely.
That's an unusually universal substance.
Yeah.
Just don't try and bake a cake with it. I accidentally when I was much younger, my youngest brother was asking, the recipe's asking for baking something, and I'm like, a baking powder. I'm like, here, use this with baking soda, and it was horrible cookies. So,
Oh no!
It's not that universal.
I did that too the first time that I tried to bake. Gibson's gonna make fun of me because she knows I burn myself all the time. So we said Scorpios tend not to be great cooks. I think that she said that. So.
Okay.
Don't judge me. Moving on.
Yeah. All right. Next.
And yeah, next. Aaron asks, so you did the mRNA? Yes, I personally did. I read the research and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm fine with it. Moving on with life. I'm good. All right. So next segment. Okay. How the demon of your own mind operates with creating bad mental tapes. Bring mental tapes into the light. Catholicism's take on limbo, purgatory, and hell. Raheim's opinion of eating meat. Raw eggs are deadly. And cooking
Darn.
eggs.
What was the last part?
Darn, we're missing out. Sorry. Cook an egg at least 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah. But I like eggnog.
I love eggnog.
We got to buy it
Love
pasteurized.
eggnog.
But otherwise, listen.
Yes.
Raheim, you were talking about people, us or in particular, not being affected by cataclysmic events, the Atlantean things. And then there are these illnesses and virus and things like that. All of those things are things that we can intellectualize. It's outside myself, or it's in my hand, and you can, in a way, distance yourself from it. But the emotional war happens in here, I think, is always worse than if you see a catastrophe, you can get busy and start moving,
That's right.
moving rubble.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It's this. Remember what I said? The demon of your own mind is the one that because the demon of your own mind can imagine all kinds of things. It can create all kinds of things.
So this is where ejecting the tapes, and so when we share that understanding of ejecting the tapes and truly helping one another with
Yes, and that's why I think it makes it so important that Sylvia's mentioned it now. I mention it because in mentioning it and bringing it out, see, there's nothing better to kill a demon than to bring it out into the light. How many times do you know this to be true? Once you voice a worry to a friend, it diminishes it. You see, that's why the Catholics were not too foolish when they had their confessionals. They got rid of a lot of psychiatric problems there because there was someone in the dark who listened, supposedly who was to be godlike, they would forgive you. It was a very definite psychological mode of operation. You can't knock that, wrong as it may be, and I will stand on that. It was very functional to keep people from going crazy in a time when they needed sanction so that if they did die, they could go to heaven because people were so afraid. You see what the churches did, not only Catholicism, they scared them to death on one side and then they gave them absolution on the other. So they got him either way. They got him coming in the door and out the door.
Thank you.
You know, it's interesting. I'm an ex-Catholic. There's one word for heaven, for the goodness. But there's limbo, purgatory, and hell. It's like there's
That's what I
so many
said, there's
words
so
for
many.
negative.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
The limbo is for babies and wings that float around and never come down. Purgatory is waiting to get there, and hell is you never get out. But it was for all stages of development. And heaven to the Catholic was the beatific vision. And they had no other, they would never, I defy you to find any theologian, whether from St. Thomas to St. Benedict, to any of the forefathers of the theology, to ever explain to you in any book or form or lecture or sermon what exactly heaven was about. They've never described it. It was a beatific vision. Yes.
Raheim, the problem that they're having in England with the bovine virus that they think humans can catch, can you enlighten us on that? Is that something that we need to be concerned about?
No, I know what you're talking about. And it's very much like the old hoof and mouth disease. Do you remember that? Or anthrax. Yes, it's a type of that. I think they're afraid that it's going to become airborne or transmitted or whatever but it's not. It's not going to be, no.
So it's something that they do. If it does come from the cattle and it does affect humans that eat that meat, that infected cow.
Mhm.
Other than that.
Yes, but you see, even then, it's very much like your threat over here of E. coli. Anything, regardless of what it is, salmonella, and nothing carries salmonella as much as chicken does. Anything that's cooked properly, do not worry about it, because even, let's say, if it was infected, because as you well know, there's nothing dirtier to eat than pork. Nothing. Pork, up until maybe 15 years in your time, was filled with tuberculosis. Cooked, or you could get trichinosis, which was the worm. But cooked, that's why even to this day you shouldn't trust pink pork. In fact, I've never been, as you well know, very much for a lot of meat. But anything well cooked, no, you won't get it. So, but any of you people who think you're smart by eating raw meat, you may have been 6 or 7 years ago, but do not do it now. You're not being clever to have something bloody on your plate. Also, be very careful of eating raw eggs. Raw eggs at this point are deadly. They carry salmonella. And if any of you have small children who like real soft-boiled eggs, do not allow them to have that. It's too dangerous. You should cook an egg at least 3, even better 4 minutes to kill it. No more red, bloody meat. No more. Unless, of course, you want to put a gun in your mouth. Yes.
What about jerky? Is that been
Oh,
cured?
no,
Smoked?
jerky is cured. Probably safer than maybe a lot of the other meat, because not only has it been smoked, sun-dried, and steamed. Very. And the Indians, American Indians, knew that more than anything. They never had anything like salmonella because they smoked their beef, they put it to dry in the sun, even with their fish. Nobody could cure fish like they could. You could imagine people today trying to do that, they'd have salmonella poisoning by putting their fish out because they don't know how to clean it. We don't know how to clean it like they did.
Which is
Interesting.
fun trivia to hear and learn of how native people, lived off the land and worked with the land and survived. They
Yeah.
the traditions, shared down the line of how to live, how to survive, how to be fruitful.
Yeah. Smoked fish jerky. That's fascinating. Anyway,
Well, there's also it's the smoked meat. The
smoked meat. Yeah.
yeah, whether it's like I could imagine back in the days it sounded like they were referring to as like the buffalo or deer or things like that was common, which many people still do now. Is it's almost like the microbreweries now. You have so much diversity in beer. You've got diversity in jerky, in different kind of meat jerkies.
Yeah. I suppose you're right. On that. Interesting. Just wish that meat prices weren't so high right now in America.
And the challenge too with listening to Francine and Raheim, I believe when they say meat, they're referring to like beef products, beef type of things, whereas pork is different and chicken is different, is not considered meat by I guess technicality. When I'm just being lazy and talking about eating meat, yes, I include chicken, fish, pork, and all the proteins. But they're referring to meat as like beef type products. So they distinguish between the different kinds of proteins in that way.
Yeah. And then Sherry says, I guess eating over easy eggs is not recommended.
Right.
So, yeah.
as,
Just a
as
bummer because it's my favorite.
Yeah, I know that many people like the over easy on a nice piece of toast, and love that. Well, you can get pasteurized egg, and I've yet to find and you can do it yourself. It's just that it's super challenging because you just have to bring it up to the right temperature. But the challenge is, anyway, that's a whole challenge into itself. Pasteurizing is helpful. Plus, that's what they do with milk, is they pasteurize it, and which in itself is like an industry, I think, technology that for us in a house will be a challenge because of just
Yeah.
how it's accomplished. I've wanted to delve into because I like eggnog, and
Eggnog.
yeah, and I've when I was younger, um, I went when I was introduced to it, or at least when I thought I was introduced to it. My friends would go over to my friend's house. He said, Let's go make some eggnog." I went, "Great!" So we're cracking eggs in the blender, pouring milk in and sugar and everything else. Oh, this is great! And it wasn't until years later I realized, oh, we're eating raw eggs, and I'm like, oh, but I like to make it for myself. So anyway, yes, it'd be fun to be able to have a pasteurizing system in the house. But man, talk about a cleanup mess. Uh, um, you know, to be able to do that properly and but still have a quality product afterwards, I think it'd be a mess. And that's why you've got dairy manufacturers. They have equipment that's designed to do it in mass quantities. So I resort to going to the store.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, let me just double check to make sure that I don't have any other thoughts on that particular thing. Oh, I love the act of bringing out your tapes into the light.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, if you think about, if you try to sit down and challenge yourself to think about, like, what are the things that really worry me the most? What are the catastrophes that bother me and keep me up, and that I think about, like the what ifs, what if this person rejects me, or what if I lose my job, or what if I'm too this, or what if I'm too that, or what if I'm not good enough, or what if I'm not perfect enough, like
The
whatever.
freeway's horrible. I can't drive. I get so frustrated. What frustrates you?
I can't do this. I
Yeah,
can't do
there
that.
you go.
I'm not good enough.
I'm
Like,
not worthy.
mom doesn't love me. I'm not worthy. Yeah, just those terrible, like, little snippets, man. When you bring those into the light, here's what I would recommend. So, because they are scripts and tapes that Francine has talked about as basically like the dark other side kind of is aware of
Inserted.
things that
Yes.
they know the things that needle us good. They're the
And
worst.
get us to start playing those tapes in our head.
Yeah. So say I want to dome this conversation. And so Asana, please dome this conversation. And so then you have your conversation with whoever it is that you're talking to. It could be, best friend, loved one, therapist, minister, whoever. And get it out and say, like, this is what I'm afraid of. This is the thing that I'm the most afraid of. And then just have a conversation about how to challenge that script. Just bring it out into the light and see that it's not actually that scary. Naming it as half of the battle. And so basically you're just like letting your logic, like, fact check this thing, this thing, so that it's not just like this nebulous thing that's just running around and making you feel like an awful person, because no, that's terrible. Get that out of here.
And
Eject.
yeah, put that finger on your forehead and say, okay, eject that tape.
Eject. Yeah. Make it, put purple light around your finger, put your finger to your forehead, say eject, and visualize purple light all through your mind, and just pushing every negative thing out of your mind. And so that is how to deal with these scripts. I love this process. I'm like, let's get them out of here. I love talking.
That's
beating them up.
We're cleaning up house. We're cleaning up the trash that kind of hangs out. And
yeah.
The other one is, there was suggested put a rubber band on your wrist, but I just go like, okay, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's starting to go, just say stop. Snap your wrist. Say stop. Do this again. Like, put your finger to your forehead again, if that is also helpful. And yeah.
When you mention that, that's also okay. Eject that tape, but also that's not my truth.
Oh yeah. So say a little bit more about that.
Well, that's about it. So it's when you hear something, or um, when you recognize or identify the noisy tape that's going through your mind, um, whatever that is, you just rattled off a whole bunch of different ones, and pick one and say, it's eject that tape, and it's not my truth.
Yeah.
You're putting your finger on your heart chakra.
Hmm.
So intellect and emotion.
Yeah, Francine said that she'll see, like, if they see people like getting chewed out, or they had like there's a tape that is going like towards the person, they say they actually visually see like it getting into their into that forehead chakra, and then going and settling into a person's heart. And I imagine that's why your chest actually hurts when you are going through like some of these pains of life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not my truth. I'm glad that you remembered that and mentioned it. It's great. It's not my truth. Eject this tape. It's not my truth. All right. Cancel. Thank you. All right. So, Linda says, love to do the ejecting of the tape. Really does work. Ramona shares, I've been ejecting with my third eye for years. And Naomi starts laughing and says, why does that sound funny? It does sound different. If Reverend Yvonne shares, they've done so many things with like to the meat and eggs and fill them with hormones and antibiotics to make them get bigger. Yeah, it's just some companies are not great to be dealing with, for sure. But yeah, love reading your comments. Should we move on to the third segment then?
Sure.
All right. So last segment, we're going to end this trance. A Gnostic might ask why some people are persecuted more than others. All planets in the solar system will be used for a life schematic at some point. Whale songs, Free Willy, and angels and their wings.
Fun.
Okay.
Take notes. Here we
About
go.
that last week. Here we go.
The general populace a lot of times say, why does God do this? Why, say there's an illness or a young child dies. Is that ignorance, or is that actually the Gnostic coming out questioning
No,
God
that's
in the Bible?
stupid. That's stupid. That's not Gnostic. That's not question. Because you see, that question has a tail to it. It has a hook in it. That's like, I don't believe in God because he did this to a child. That's what that means. That's an answered question. No. That's not a Gnostic question. Yeah. A Gnostic might ask why some people are persecuted more than others, or why do some people die and some people don't, or good survive. I mean, good don't survive as well as bad, but they would never ask the question in that way. Why would God take a child? That's not a Gnostic question. That's an ignorant, dummy question. Yes.
Was the planet Saturn ever using schematic for humans to live on?
All the planets were.
All the planets?
All the planets in this solar system.
Because last time Francine mentioned about it, only several planets were used.
Oh, that's right, but before it's over, all of them will be used. There's been Venus used, there's been this Earth planet used, Mercury will come in, but then eventually so will Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter. Mars, they will all be used. Just because they haven't been used yet doesn't mean they all won't be used. They'll swing into place. It'll be something when some of these huge planets come in, won't it?
Yeah.
Because your planet would be a dot on, it would be a little tiny dot on Saturn or Jupiter. Oh, and look at how big those are.
We'll have more room.
Yes.
So before we usher out the dark, as you say, on the other side, all these planets will have had to have come in and gone. So we're talking about a lot.
Oh yeah, but you're going to be on the other side. You're not going to reincarnate unless mystical travelers have a tendency to want to go to other places and visit and maybe make a few incarnations here and there. But I suspect, like me, most of you are so battle-worn and fatigued that you're just going to go around and be guides and help on the other side of any planet rather than to go into life. Now, maybe when this schematic is washed away and there's another schematic starting, then we'll see what we will do. Now, see, that's something we don't know yet. We don't know what, we're in the sixth schematic. We don't know what the final one is going to be yet. But I'm sure it's something to perfect. Now, after the final one, does that mean we all are absorbed again? No. Then they tell me the whole revolution of things starts over again. So it's an eternity of working. Not the same way, but it all goes on and on and on and on and on for eternity. So, but there's nothing to say. You have free will choice when you come back. Is if you don't want to do anything except to sit under a tree. I know you won't, but let's say for your own mind's quiet now, you could go and sit by a brook for eternity if you wanted to.
Can I ask you, Raheim, has anything changed timeline-wise for us getting a holistic center going and anybody relocating as far as...
No, I expect most people in your timeline will start in about 6 years if Sylvia's son has anything to do with it, which he has a lot more to do about it than you think, and I won't go into that now because he's very quiet about that, but it might be sooner than that. It might be sooner than that because he's the dark horse that's going to come out of the grain, as we say, and show you how community living is going to be done. I find it amazing with Sylvia sometimes. She always wonders where it will come from, and it's coming from her own back door, which is always the way it is. Well, yes.
One question from the tones last time that they were talking about. Do the whale songs have any correlation to these?
Oh yes, beautiful, aren't they? We don't expect on your side, Free Willy, to be around much longer. We already see his soul beginning to rise. He doesn't like it here. His dorsal fin, oh no, he'd be better where we are. His dorsal fin would be repaired. He doesn't like it here. He doesn't. They keep thinking he's smiling, he's happy. I can guarantee you, the angels that guard him says he's not happy. He's still, no matter whether he's in a larger place, he's still yeah, and not only that, but he's still incarcerated. He's not free. And they call him Free Willy. He's not free. Yes.
Right before the war, they did an experiment on children, and they didn't stop it in time, and they had babies, they had a controlled group of babies that they just fed them and loved them and held them, and the other group of babies, they fed them, and those babies died. Similarly, I think what would help us do a quantum leap above and beyond what the geneticists will be able to do is to be able to institute that sort of love for ourselves, expand it out to others.
That's right.
That's what the angels do.
Hold yourself, love yourself, and then take that love in a ball. And Sylvia has that wonderful meditation. Remember, roll that ball from your aura and throw it at the blocks of negativity. Yes, hold yourself, baby yourself, love yourself, and then extend that. You're right, that's what the angels do, and that's what you do on the other side. And somehow or another, religions, society, politics, whatever you want to call it, has beaten you to pieces, beaten it out of you, beaten this simplicity out of you. Yes?
With the everything is angels now, is this just a fad? Or will this continue to...
Oh, it will continue, but Sylvia gets so angry. I tell Francine to tell her to calm down, because she says, what about the guides? They are the lost phylum that nobody thinks of. And I say, who cares? As long as people are looking to the heavens for if they think they have wings. I know the other night Sylvia was up on the hill with her son Christopher, and she hasn't told anybody this, but she did see a huge angel walking down the hall, and she was very surprised because the angel had wings, and Sylvia's always felt that they didn't have. And what's so funny about it is it was Ariel, and he deliberately had Sylvia sing with angels to prove that she might be wrong. So she's kept very quiet about it. She won't be now because I've, what's the word? Snitched on it. All right, God bless you all.
Thank you, Raheim.
Somebody snitched. That was
Funny.
yeah. I remember when she brought that subject out and then wrote her book saying that okay, now I got to change my story about angels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a rude awakening of you've been purporting for how many years and but then again that also shows her experience of being here. She had never witnessed um, angels in that form and fashion, and yet here's this all out of nowhere this huge thing, and it's kind of like two parts of wow, that's pretty amazing, but oh my god, they got wings. And so it's like
Like, damn it.
yeah
It's too funny.
yeah
Funny. Um,
oh hey, if
Yeah.
if Pluto is no longer considered a planet in our perspective, are we gonna inhabit Pluto in the years to come? I'm like,
something similar.
that's just the
Funny.
silliest thing for me is I don't know all the physics or the decision, but yes, Pluto is no longer considered a planet, but yet it's going to get used in someday for incarnating on. So
Yeah, it's really fascinating, and um, for anyone who's curious, like if you're thinking about it, like some of these massive planets are like, how would you live in the atmosphere of some of these places? Well, when a planet gets too close to the sun, sun can start blowing off the atmosphere. So there's different things that can happen that can continue to affect the physical presentation of a planet. So there's actually a study out that blew my mind, but was very validating for what we have heard about from Francine and Raheim regarding Mercury being the next place to hold life.
Mhm.
Said that because they were saying in the trance that Mercury actually is about the size of Earth, even though science has overwhelmingly said like Mercury is tiny, 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 like a lot smaller than Earth. But they were able to do some calculations and kind of get closer to Mercury, and they were able to determine scientists were able to determine that Mercury is actually like super compressed right now,
Oh,
and
okay.
is going through a process of expanding back out,
Hmm.
which is fascinating. So I was like, okay, there it is. That's how it gets to be about the size of Earth again. Fascinating, super, super interesting. So, yeah, if anyone's wondering about,
I don't believe that humanoids are going to evolve to be able to survive on Mercury where Mercury resides now.
there's no way it'll
Yeah.
have to change.
Right, and that's what we've heard in trances is that there's going to be a shift in planetary locations, and just as this Earth was processed and prepared and allowed to evolve in its position. That's what's going to happen with other planets, and we're not talking like in a year things change. It's like In
Billions of
our
years.
time, yeah, in
Mil-
our time, it's millions of years.
Mhm. Yeah. And maybe by that time, I might be ready to have an incarnation again, because right now I am done after this. I feel so tired, and I don't want to go through it again. But
Yeah.
maybe in the future, it'll be a different story. So it'll be interesting. Millions of years later.
Yeah.
So I want to read a couple comments really quick. A couple people were laughing at Sylvia's whoopsies about angels being wings optional.
Yeah.
It's funny. Ramona shares, when I read my first Sylvia book by Sylvia, it made sense to me. It was the truth. And Reverend Yvonne shared something similar. But all of the comments from Facebook disappeared. How rude. Why does it do this? Hot mess. Well, cool. All right.
Are we still on Facebook?
We are still on Facebook. All these comments just disappeared. Yvonne, I'm so sorry I lost your comment. But anyway, yeah, it's fascinating stuff. So, are we ready for meditation, maybe?
Well, I am. Are you?
I think I am.
Okay,
And I've got-
all right. And I trust everybody else is following along with us. So, a meditating cat.
Yeah.
Yes, go find your own cat videos and anyway, meditate on those. For those of us that want to participate in the meditation, we encourage you to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap to receive that wonderful healing energy and grace from the other side. And for those of you that need to pay attention to what you're doing, don't pay attention to us, but by all means come back and listen to these wonderful meditations in the on-demand. For everyone else, find that comfortable place to sit and we will enjoy. Here we go. Yep. Find a comfortable place to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap. Now, take 3 deep breaths to start relaxing the mind and the body. Now close your eyes when you are ready.
A blend of light. Bind yourself with colors of light. Now start blending them. Begin by threading a white light through your forehead and into your throat, solar plexus, and lower intestinal tract. Next, thread a purple light through the same path. Surround yourself with this bubble of light. Take a gold light and thread it through the same path, your forehead, throat, solar plexus, and lower intestinal tract. Now take a green light through. The light is now around you in its rainbow of colors. You should do this every day. It takes only a few minutes. Ask that your emotion and intellect be cemented together and that the white light of the Holy Spirit surround you. I promise you that if you ask Father and Mother God, as well as your spirit guide, to protect you and your aura, then your aura can go out into a pain-filled desert and conquer it.
Now, on the count of 3, come all the way back. 1, 2, 3. Fully and totally awake. That was short. Oh my goodness. Anyway, but that was a rejuvenating. I was thinking of letting go of some negative tapes, thoughts, and things that have cropped up recently that I'm like, no, go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, which shows the fact that I'm still like got to recuperate here.
No.
So in closing, if you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in chat or email us questions to cat@novus.org or tom@novus.org. And of course, we appreciate all of our listeners, both live and on demand. Show your appreciation for New Spirit Radio by sharing, promoting, liking, and all those fun things. Watch for our websites, novus.org, sylviabrowne.com, and chrisrightnow.com. Yes, we are. Well, I hope we're on Facebook, but yes, we have a Facebook you can find things on. Society of Novus Spiritus, Sylvia Browne Group, New Spirit Radio, and several study groups. Yes, we are on YouTube as well, Society of Novus Spiritus, and Chris has his YouTube channel, Psychic Awareness. So check those out. You can, let's see, if you'd like to donate and get something in return, start a study group. You can check out our website and find more information about how to do that and what you get from that. If you want to get something and donate, go to Amazon Smile and tell them you want to donate to Society of Novus Spiritus. Yes, currently Sunday services are, I'm posting a special service, video service on Facebook and YouTube at the first of the month, each month. And Reverend Ellen Schloss has a special Sunday service Zoom session that you're invited to participate in. You put your email in the website and you'll get an invitation. Now's that time. Now's the time for that novena I was referring to. For those of you that are new, there's a phrase we use for this ceremony. And the phrase is, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. And together we're going to say that phrase 3 times. And I'll lead you and just follow along with me. And then I'll, after we say the phrase 3 times, we ask for things for each session, each segment. So visualize all of us together. We're holding hands. We're in the same room together, and we're sharing our energy and getting that out, our requests out as well. So let's start. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for yourself. Okay. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for others. Okay, and the last one. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, picture our light going out like a beacon for others seeking this spiritual knowledge, and that we get to share with them. So yeah, there's things that we can show appreciation for, but also, show appreciation for yourself, for taking the time and stopping for yourself and learning something. Give yourself a reward for doing this. In addition, show your appreciation for Raheim and Francine for researching all of this wonderful knowledge. For Sylvia, for coming to this insane asylum in the universe to start this movement, and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here. And of course, Asna for helping and protecting us. And Father God for providing the most prestigious school for us to experience and learn and satisfy our unique spark of curiosity. Of course, I want to appreciate Bob for helping with some of the graphics and the audio. Sammy and Javon for the wonderful intro-outro music. For the show, writing, setup, and hosting is MIT Catherine Taylor. Editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. So now we're going to conclude with a prayer by Sylvia. What? Oh. Glad I can count and read. All right, here's a prayer by Sylvia.
Autumn Equinox Prayer for Evening. Dearest Asna and Father God, attend to us with your bountiful gifts for the coming year. We are in our hearts and souls as one, coming before you as your anointed ones. Glean from the harvest of our souls our good acts as the Gnostics of old. Weigh them before our acts of adversity, and see that our hearts are pure. Help us to avoid judging ourselves or others. Keep us pure of heart and purpose. Stay with us, Mother, as we praise and honor your name. We petition our Lord God and our Christ consciousness, and let the light of the Holy Spirit shine upon us. Thank you, Mother. Blessed be thy holy name. Amen.
And Kat's going to tell us.
Happy birthday, Sylvia. We love you. And everyone listening, we absolutely love you too. Good night. See you next week.
For so long we have ignored you, as if you were not there. All praise went to the Father. We were so unaware that through the years you've shed your tears for all the pain we bear. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who you are. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Oh, more than a friend to me. You give me everything I need. In your peace you hold me tight. You are the bringer of the light. With no fear we boldly stand, because you hold this world in your hands. You are the truth, you are the hope and love we never knew. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. Mother